Were you ever trying to make a homemade meal following a recipe that tells you to julienne your carrots and dice your onions, but you have no idea what that even means, so you just cube everything the way you normally do? You throw it all in the same pot. Same ingredients, right? But then your soup turns out bland and the texture is weird, and something feels off. It turns out the way you cut your vegetables actually does matter, more than you think. Different cuts change how vegetables cook, how they taste, how they feel in your mouth. Smaller cuts release more flavor into the dish, while bigger ones hold their shape and taste more distinct. When everything is cut evenly, it cooks evenly. When it's not, some pieces turn to mush while others stay undercooked. And let's be honest, nobody wants crunchy potatoes in soup. Even the way the dish looks depends on the cut. A pile of finely sliced basil looks elegant. The same herb, roughly chopped, it just doesn't hit the same. It's not about just being fancy. It's about getting texture, timing, and taste right, especially in professional culinary. Take soup, for example. If your carrots are thick rounds and your celery is minced, the celery will overcook and disappear, while the carrots will stay tough. Or think about a stir fry. Uniform matchsticks of vegetables cook quickly and keep that crisp, tender bite. But if you toss in uneven chunks, you're left with soggy, inconsistent results. There's science behind this too. When you cut vegetables smaller, you increase their surface area, which means more vegetable is exposed to heat, oil, and seasoning. That exposure makes them cook faster, absorb more flavor, and develop better texture. It's the reason finely chopped onions turn sweet and golden so quickly, while big chunks stay raw in the middle. More surface area also means more opportunities for the Maillard reaction, which is basically just a fancy term. Which is basically just a fancy term for the browning that happens when food cooks. The browning creates deeper, more complex flavors. That's why roasted diced sweet potatoes get those delicious caramelized edges, while large chunks get soft and steamy. And that's why browning butter gives it a rich caramely flavor. It's the same science at work. That nutty toasted taste makes browned butter an excellent addition to cookies and baking, which I will be covering in a future video, so just you wait. And it doesn't stop there. The structure of the vegetable affects how it breaks down too. Shredding cabbages breaks more cell walls, helping it soften faster in stir fries or slaws. But slicing it into thick wedges keeps it firm and layered, better for roasting. Even how vegetables release enzymes and sugars change with how you cut them. Crushing garlic instead of slicing it activates a compound called allicin, which makes the flavor sharper and more intense. Same ingredient, two different results, just based on how it's cut. So, what can you do as a home cook? Start by learning a few basic cuts like dice, slice, julienne, mince, and chiffonade. Try cutting the same vegetable in two different ways and cook them. Notice how the results change. So what can you do as a home cook? Start by learning a few basic cuts like dice, slice, julienne, mince, and chiffonade. Try cutting the same vegetables in two different ways and cook it the exact same way, and notice how the results change. Even just focusing on cutting things the same size can make a big difference in your cooking to make sure they all have the same texture. And you don't need to be a professional chef. You just need to understand why these little minute details matter. The next time a recipe tells you to cut something, don't ignore it. Try it. It may even be the secret to unlocking the flavor, texture, and balance your dish has been missing. Even if no one else notices it, you will. But other people will notice it because it really does matter.